Actually, it's been very rewarding so far. This one has been a good experience. That I like that we do the 1 hour kind of instruction lecture, even though it's an interactive thing, and then we move on to the action items, how we're going to activate those action items that we just talked about an hour ago. I like that. And the other thing with Jacqueline is she, she has a really good way of engaging everybody. Just not her standing there, but it's not like, you do this, you do this, you do this. It's like, how are you going to add? And she makes us think. I think a lot of it is I'm going to try to be like Jacqueline when I grow up.
Oh, good. That's a big compliment.
My business, a lot of my business, I do consulting with attorneys where I review medical records. I'm a registered nurse. The premier most energy thing is going to be training nurses to become case managers, nurses who are burnt out at the bedside and want to move into another phase of healthcare. I'm training them to be case managers, so I'm going to be putting that online. And my goal initially, before I'm semi-retired, but before that, the last 3 years, I used to do 2 and 3 day boot camps. Younger generation, a lot of them don't like to attend classes, so I was wanting to put it 75% online. Okay, so one of the things that I'm seeing is that this can totally be done online, on Zoom.
Okay.
That my online business, like Jacqueline works her classes, I think I can totally do that. Work it like her, pattern myself after what she does. And the one thing about Jacqueline, I don't know what it is, if it's spiritual, if it's prayer, if it's God, and it's all of that, I'm sure. She is just always so calm. The Zoom is falling apart and not working, and you can't hear, and she can't get started. She's just always so calm. So I want to be like that. So when I do my online classes, because you will run into challenges and frustrated, but she just always so calm. And she keeps reminding us every class that this class is building on the next class, on the next class. And I think that that was easy to follow. And I think when you tell your participants that this is, you'll understand this more because we're building a building, it mentally sets them up to know that, this is, if I work it, it's going to work if I keep following the steps. Yeah. So I just finished my LinkedIn profile, and she was telling us about some of the colors that we should use for, to get people's attention, depending on what profession or trade that we were in. Well, she shows you a technique, and she asks you, how are you going to use that in your services or your business? We're all hearing each other. So what that does is it confirms either what you want to do, or it gives you some ideas, or it sparks new things. And it's like, oh, so I think out of a lot of that, you get things that you have not thought about, because I know that everybody has some expertise in an area that I don't. And it's always good to engage and interact that way, because you find new things. I like her teaching style. That's why I said I want to be like her. When she grew up. She doesn't get frustrated, and she's just even temperament the entire course, and even and most things that we have questions about, she can lead us down a good path. But even I don't recall any time where she said, I'll have to research that. She answered a question for me. I was just re-reviewing the last lesson last night. I had some hang-ups about the course, one of the courses that I'm teaching for legal nurse consultant, because there are people who are much more experienced in that area than I am. And I go to conferences with them, and 2 of them I actually take some of their online courses to keep updated, but I'm also doing a course on that for nurses. And so I've been a little bit shy about how to go about that, because here, these are my colleagues, and we go to conferences together. I take classes from them. They know me, and yet I'm starting to do some of the things that they're doing. And how is that going to look for me? And because now I'm their competition somewhat. And she answered that in a way that I could really see that. She's like, there's a million nurses out there that want to do this. One person, those other two people can't train a million people. And the way I teach it is not the way they teach it. And so people will come to me because of me, and people will go to them because of them. I mean, like, I'm a nurse. And so other nurses came into the field, and they didn't say, well, what if I'm competing against Pauline and taking the course? I was like, it was like 3 hours of my Saturday. But now it just passes so fast because you're having so much fun. Because I thought everything was amazing. And she has a way of making sure everybody feels comfortable. And that was really good. Because I'm really, really enjoying her program. I don't even know where she get all of that from. I want to know. I like her style. I did consider using another one. I actually had just signed up for another one, and then I jumped right out of it I'm so happy I did, because I think, like we were talking about, I'm teaching legal nurses, and they come to me because of me. And I came to Jacqueline because I met Jacqueline about a year. It's not been quite a year. It was in October of last year in Los Angeles. We were at a sponsorship conference together for 3 days, and I didn't talk to her until like the last hour. And then I asked her what she did, and she started telling me, I'd like to talk to you because I needed a business project manager. The reason I chose Jacqueline is because I'm business. It's about business, and I had signed up with another company, and I had talked to Jacqueline in LA, and I kept her number. Then when I got here, we had talked. And you know how, like, sometimes I'm a very spontaneous person. So I got online with this other company, and they were telling you how you could get your courses online within a matter of like within the next 90 days, I think they were saying. It sounded so good and so attainable. I signed up with that company. And then I slept on it because they said they give you money back in 14 days. So my online course is going to go for 90 days. I can't launch it into 90 days, but I get my money back in 14 days. So how does that make sense? Oh, in 14 days, I know that I was not going to be able to have an online course. So then in 90 days, the 14 days is gone. So you're not going to get your money back.
Right.
And so I kind of thought about a business like that. Unreasonable, because she's making over $1 million a year in her business, but I think it's selling things fast. And I felt like that company was concerned about the quantity rather than the quality of work. And I'm about quality. So then I felt like, and I went back and I was like, because Jacqueline seems like a really solid-minded business person. So, and she said that throughout her course now with her, that I've got to know her better, is that I practice what I teach. And that's what I want. I don't want somebody who, wants to take a couple $1,000s of your money, promise you all of this. I got to do a lot of work, but then I don't know that they're going to do any if I don't. They're not going to push me if I don't, So I feel like Jacqueline's, I know that I have to do work, but I think that she'll be there with me. I think it's reasonable. I think actually it kind of matches all the resources. I haven't used them all. In each module, she has 8 modules where she's giving us resources and links. And actually, I've signed up for one of them that she gave, Builderall. It is the one that kind of is a one-stop shop for your email, your website, and all that kind of stuff. So I just signed up for that recently. So she gives us good resources. And I've been doing business a little bit, but I didn't know about all of those. And she's very knowledgeable. I don't know how she finds out those things. So that's good. I think it aligns with I think the price is reasonable. I think her resources is good that she gives us. I think that she has a really great style, a great I think I like her style, and I think it's great. I think it's beneficial. I think that she's very resourceful and very knowledgeable and very patient. I just see this as being a benefit, and I think everything that she does with us is an example or a benefit that we can use.